Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today is going to be a little bit more of a chatty one, a little bit more of a personal one as well, because I feel like I have not filled you guys in the longest time. If you guys are new here, my name is Georgia and I'm a women's online health and fitness coach. I help women feel unstoppable confidence both inside and out through dropping body fat, toning up and working on their health and fitness in a way that is sustainable for them long term. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back for another video. And like I said, today is going to be a little bit more of a personal one. I thought I would fill you in on my goals, where I'm at right now and what I have got coming up for the rest of this year. I'm also so excited for my background to look a little bit better soon. At the moment, when I film in here, I'm currently in the room that is a combination of my office and Tom's gaming room, so it's kind of like a half and half split. And at the moment it's just looking quite clinical, so I'm very excited to just get things looking and feeling a little bit more homely now that we are a little bit more settled since we have moved. So yeah, stay tuned for an upgrade of the background and things just looking a little bit nicer. But I did put my planting candle there because otherwise this chest of drawers is normally just like bare on top, so I was like, I'll at least make it look a little bit more exciting. So yeah, I'm very excited to freshen up the place and just, yeah, properly settle in here. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into my goals. So I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part, we'll talk more health and fitness goals, and the second part, more sort of like personal goals. But to be quite honest, most of my goals right now are focused around my health and fitness. I feel like I just have so much drive where that is concerned at the moment. So that is definitely the forefront of my focus. So we'll delve into that first of all. Now, as you guys know, this year has been quite a big year for me so far with regards to like my own personal health and fitness. I did my half marathon, my first half marathon back in February, and then I did my first high rocks back in April. We are now in June, and I have been trying since Barcelona to get tickets for another high rocks. As soon as Tom told me that he actually enjoyed high rocks and he would do it again, that was literally my green flag to go and start trying to get tickets. When I tell you, when I booked these Barcelona tickets back in January, it was the easiest thing. I just went on the High Rocks website, I added them to my cart, I picked the day that I preferred, easy peasy. But trying to get tickets right now is like literally mining for gold. It has been so difficult. Now, I'm really not fussed about competing in the UK because I know how popular High Rocks is right now. So I was kind of at peace with the fact that I wasn't going to get tickets for anywhere in the UK, and I'm not really too fussed, to be quite honest. I'm someone who loves traveling, I love exploring new places, and a lot of the places that High Rocks is going to be for the rest of this year is actually cities that I've never been to. So I see this as an opportunity to squeeze in a little city break amongst competing. So I was quite happy to compete anywhere in Europe. Sat down with my coach and said to her, big goal for me this year is to compete again, probably the other side of summer, because we will go away for a little bit through like end of August. So I want to have ample time to make sure that I have like a real crunch time and a real intense prep period after my holiday, and of course preparation in between now and going away as well. But the big thing is, I know I'm not going to be able to do high rock specific training with the gym that I use in Mallorca. They just don't have what I would need to do things like wall ball, sled push. Did I have a ski erg? Did I have a rowing machine? It's great for training weights out there, the gym that I use, and I'm very lucky that I can have a good gym that I can get access to out there, but it's not very high rock specific. So I knew I needed a good amount of time the other side of summer to get myself sorted. So we were looking at kind of like September, October time, and we set a couple of like targets for high rocks to book onto. The number one being Paris, which is on my vision board for a place that I wanted to go back to this year. And yeah, perfect opportunity, right? Perfect timing, perfect place. I haven't been to Paris since I was a kid, so I very much want to go back as an adult. Paris tickets get released. Georgia sits in the waiting room for literally hours and the whole thing is sold out. I then repeated the process for Dublin the following week when those tickets came out. And at this point, I had also looked at all the other locations in Europe that had been released ticket-wise. Everything was sold out everywhere. So as a bit of a joke, because I was like, well, there's not going to be any chance of me competing anytime soon, I was like, I'll just look at the ones outside of Europe. And I mean, we could get tickets to compete in Japan or Brazil. And I actually messaged Tom and he was like, really? When's Japan? Because Japan is a place that we do really want to go to. But we have said that we're not going to do any big holidays this year. We're just going to keep things more low-key because we did do a lot of traveling last year. I definitely fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole looking at flights and accommodation in Japan, and then my brain came back down to the normal earth that we are on right now. And yeah, at the moment I just don't want to be traveling that far and having to go away for obviously a much longer period of time if we're dealing with such a change in time zones as well. That was definitely a no-go, but never say never, maybe Japan next year. So by this point I was sort of losing hope, I can't lie, and I was on a call with my coach literally on Thursday, just gone, and we were looking at all the HYROX like events that had not had tickets released, and we basically made a list and sort of like worked out when ticket sales will be going live and everything like that. And we saw that the tickets for Madrid were going live Friday just gone, so I was like, okay, perfect, I'm on it. I'll have a tab open with my phone. Friday was like a day of like meetings. I had a coffee date. I had appointments. So I was like in and out, but I was like, I will try my best and have a like tab open on my phone. So came out of my appointment, the sale went live. So I opened the tab on my phone, and then I literally drove to where I was going to meet a friend for a coffee, and my phone like switched over to the waiting room, and I was 2000th, if that's how you say it, in the queue. And I was like, oh my goodness, this could be the moment. Because prior to this, like for the other two that I tried to get tickets for, I was like 20 something thousandth in the queue. It was mad. But long story short, I have tickets for Madrid. So Tom and I are going to Madrid in November. It is towards the end of November, so we do have a really good amount of prep time. So that is the big health and fitness goal right now, is getting to obviously do another HYROX and definitely running it faster than we did back in April. So right now my training is very much focused around that, and very much focused around improving my running, because that is probably one of the things that will allow us to increase our speed and therefore decrease our time. Plus Tom can naturally run way faster than me, which he should be able to anyway. He's taller than me, so he's got longer levers, he's got bigger lung capacity, he's super strong, and he is someone who is just like built for speed. So genetically, everything wise, like he should be faster than me, and he very much is. So if I can increase my speed, that'll be a really easy way for us to improve our time. So at the moment, that is kind of at the forefront of like my thoughts when it comes to like my training and especially my runs. But the secondary goal that I have right now is putting on as much muscle as possible. Now, because I have worked so hard on this for years, I do have a very balanced physique. I'm very happy with how my physique looks at the moment, but there are a couple of areas that I do also want to work on. This puts me in such a solid position to go into that intensive HYROX prep where we can really knuckle down ahead of November. So not only am I going to be running faster, but I'm also going to be so much stronger, which is going to make the stations a whole lot easier. And if I could also build my engine with things like my runs and my conditioning work that I'm also doing, that is also going to help. So we are going all guns blazing for this HYROX, and I'm so excited to go back and do it all again. I've never been to Madrid. Actually, that's a lie. I've flown via Madrid, so I've been to the airport, but I've never left that airport before, so it'll be really cool. And actually, as much as Paris is on my vision board for this year, and it's probably not somewhere that we will go this year, but we actually were in Barcelona and Tom was talking about how much he wants to go to Madrid, so it's kind of like happened for the best reason. And it's funny how things like do work themselves out. So very relieved we have managed to get tickets, so that is the number one focus at the moment, alongside obviously, as I said, just keeping everything really balanced physique wise and just continuing to look and feel my best. Which brings me really nicely onto the second sort of like health and fitness goal. This is more of a holistic goal, I suppose, and that's really continuing to work on like my mindset and the way that I treat myself and the balance that I have within my life. Last year was a big year of like mental growth for me. I spent a majority of the year, like the best part of a year, working like one-to-one with a mindset coach, NLP coach, who has helped me work on so many of my like limiting beliefs, helped me work on my mindset, even things like setting boundaries and the way that I have now designed my life. And I very much want to make sure that I am continuing to build on that. If you're someone who's watching this and you think your mindset, your health, your fitness, anything like that is like a give me a couple of months, I'll sort myself out, or give me a year, I'll sort myself out, then you are so wrong. And I don't normally say things as like bluntly as that, but honestly, it's such an ever-evolving process because our lives are forever changing. Our brains are constantly exposed to new things, which can bring up other things from our past that we haven't kind of like processed or worked through. Like, you know, I'm very much scratching the surface here, and obviously I'm not going to go into that because that's not what this video is all about. But I'm such a big believer that this is a constant evolving process. Like there's never an end date for any of my goals. And what I mean by that is as soon as I hit a goal, I'm setting another goal, because the goalposts are constantly evolving, because I constantly want to be a better version of myself. So what that looks like for me from a more like wellness and mindset perspective is making sure I'm maintaining a really solid work-life balance, which at the moment I have worked so hard to achieve. And I can honestly say, like, I feel so happy with my work-life balance and where I'm at right now. Making sure that I'm taking time to prioritize things like meditating, journaling, which I do every single day, reading, learning, not only for myself, but also for my clients and for my business. This is something that is a huge priority for me. And also from more of like a health and fitness focus, because I know I said part one of this video, or like the main bulk of this video, will be me talking about my health and fitness, but also making sure that I take time to rest, to recuperate, working on my sleep, continuing to fine tune and work on my nutrition. Again, it's a forever evolving process, continually improving my relationship that I have with food and my ability to eat a balanced diet, which is 80 to 90% of the time really good quality whole foods, but also allowing myself to go out and have a coffee and a cake if I'd like to, have a biscuit after my lunch if I'd like to, have the occasional takeaway if I'd like to. I don't mean about doing these things all the time, but I mean continuing to allow myself to learn that it's okay to have that balance. I came from a place probably 8-9 years ago now where I was very much like, I shouldn't have carbs, I shouldn't have chocolate, I shouldn't have sugar, XYZ. I was like, I need to cut it out. And that made me absolutely so miserable. But there are still moments where I do struggle with that balance. And again, it's something that I'm continuing to work on and continuing to evolve with. So that is kind of the secondary health and fitness focus. Personally, I would definitely say a big thing for me is our environment, and making this place a home now. Obviously, a big personal goal for me this year was moving with Tom, and we have ticked that off, and I feel so blessed to have ticked that off so early on in the year, and also to have ticked off just so many things on my vision board in general this year, like the half marathon. So I have a slight confession to make. It is a little while later because my camera died earlier. This is the first time this has actually happened to me mid-video, but I was talking about my personal goals. So as I was just saying, obviously it is so cool that by this point in the year, we're literally heading towards the halfway mark in the year. End of this month, so the month of June when I'm filming this, will be the halfway point of this year. And I've already ticked off so many things within my vision board. Obviously, as I was just saying, the half marathon being one of them, the High Rocks being another thing, moving being another one as well, and just generally building the lifestyle that I am currently leading. I could not be happier right now, which is such a cool thing to say. So like I was just saying, making this house a home is something that is really important to me, but it's equally a process that I don't want to rush. So for example, actually taking the time to do some research. I made a Pinterest board that I actually shared with Tom over the weekend, which he was quite impressed with, so I was happy with that, of like how I want like this place to look and the sort of like style that I want to go for. Obviously we've got a lot of staple pieces of furniture, which is great. We are still without a sofa, but that's a whole other story in itself. Thank you DFS for the fantastic delays, but hopefully in the next 2 weeks we will have a sofa, but yeah, there has been a few weeks delay on that, so still living my best beanbag life. So I think once we have that as well, I can start to basically gradually build stuff around that, and that's something that is a big personal goal for myself. I also have some other sort of like big things that I'm working towards personally that I won't share at the moment, but maybe I'll share one day, I don't know, maybe not, who knows. But like I said, a big thing for me is my mindset, my lifestyle, and just being able to continue to travel and explore new places. So last year on the vision board was to visit a new country. This year was to visit not necessarily a new country, but just a new place. And I've already visited 2 new places that I've never been to before, one being Barcelona and one being Alicante in Spain. And I'm now going to Madrid that I've never been to as well. So very much Spanish tours this year, and I'm excited for that to continue. But in a nutshell, that is where we are at right now. And I think for me, as someone who is literally so goal oriented, and I literally just did a post on my story about this as well, and my clients are literally exactly the same. Everyone that I work with like is so fired up by setting specific goals, and that's why I wanted to, I suppose, share my personal goals with you guys today in this video, because I know when I hear other people's goals and when I hear what other people are working towards, I personally find that so inspiring. So that's why I thought I'd create a video like this, because I love watching other people's videos like this. Of course, I will keep you guys updated with how High Rocks prep goes and everything like that. We're very much quite far out from High Rocks. I think my countdown app that I have on my phone said 175 days. We're around the 175, 176 day mark. So we have plenty of time, but equally, we're not resting on our laurels around here. If you guys have any questions on like my training and how I do things personally, and also how I work one-to-one with my clients to get them achieving goals literally so similar to what I have. Like I said, all my clients are super goal oriented. A lot of them are working towards races, competitions, aesthetic goals as well. And so very much in line with what I do myself, which I think is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I honestly get so excited about my clients' goals, almost just as excited, if not more, than they are. So if you want some more information, I will pop the link down below for my one-to-one coaching application. All you need to do is just fill that out, absolutely zero pressure. I'll just drop you a message on Instagram. We can have a chat, see if we're a good fit to work together, and then we can just go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Apologies for the camera dying halfway through, but we came back and we managed to finish up this video in one piece.